So guys, let's start. Okay, go on.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know how many people are listening or watching us. I'm going to speak in English. Is that okay?
Yes.
Although I have never been able to sit down and speak because the topic is not something like to sit down and speak. But I can. Do they hear me well?
Yes.
No problem. My voice.
Guys in Astana, do you hear us?
No.
Guys?
Maybe it's muted.
No. Guys, do you hear us?
Maybe they are muted.
No.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
You can.
Here?
Yes.
Yes, we
hear
can.
you.
And you are in? Where are you? Where are you located?
Did you hear? To listen to you? Is it okay?
Do you hear us?
Yes, we hear you. It's okay.
Okay. Where are you located?
We located in Astana,
Astana. Okay.
Astana, Kazakhstan. Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I have met you in Armenia in Yerevan during STSC conference, I think.
Oh, how
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Great to
is it
hear you again.
okay? Do I need to sit down or stand up and talk? Which one?
I think yes. Okay. Yes.
Stand up?
As you wish, as you wish.
Yeah, I think I don't know how to sit down and talk.
Okay.
Okay. As it says, my name is Mary Hrachooi, Boghosian. I'm the founder and the CEO of Spikar, which stands for Center for Innovation, Promotion and Research. It started with a group of students who came to me wanting to do a practice in innovation, but my experience was in space. So I gradually took them from innovation to building satellite and developing satellite. And in fact, when we talk about space, we should always remember space is equivalent to innovation. Innovation is equivalent to space. So I'm going to give you a little bit background about why space or small satellite is entering into the commercial space developing sector. And what do we need to become commercial developers? No, this one. Which one? No. Okay, got it. Nope. No.
Space technologies. Yeah.
Okay, so which one? Enter or space or
No. this one.
enter? Enter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me give some information about the market of this small satellite commercial programs. the market is huge and it's growing year after year. And it is less than in the study which is done in 2019 was less than $15 billion market. In 2026, it's going to exceed that that number. And it's going to continue exceeding because of the change in the technology and because of the change in innovation. And therefore, it is very important for us to remember that always. But then let's first define what is a small satellite. Small satellite are those satellites which are less than 500 kilogram, all the way down to 0.1 kilogram. And they are divided into 4 categories: mini satellite, microsatellite, nanosatellite, and picosatellite. We are the market of these small satellites. In fact, it's growing homogeneously from the mini satellite all the way to 0.1 kilogram of picosatellite. But as of today, 2021, majority of the companies, majority of the countries are building mini satellites. If they are a new comers into the market, they build one new, and then gradually they will continue building bigger and bigger. And the number of satellites is going to grow, in fact, beyond $15 billion a year. Number of satellites, in fact, in 2016, for example, there were around 250, but today they are exceeding 1,700 satellites per year. Okay, the growth is the same in terms of dollar value, and in terms of launches also. In 2000, from 2000 and in fact from 1999, where the small satellite started, 1999, it was the first one, and it was deployed by Aerospace Corporation together with Stanford University. And by the way, one of the original original engineers who worked on small satellites was an Armenian, and his name was Henry Helvagian. Henry Helvagian and his team developed the first CubeSat, which went into the LEO orbit and was able to, it was called Aero 1, and then it followed by Aero 2, Aero 3, Aero 4, and it continued. So then the program, which was funded to Stanford University, the professor moved from Stanford, he got retired and went into Kentucky University, and his name was Bob Tweets, and he's still working on small satellite, but he is now building 1/4 of CubeSat. CubeSat is 10 by 10 by 10. 1/4 of that is what? 25, 25, 25. Okay, that's why I'm saying space is innovation, innovation is a space. First time there were so many launches, but not many successful operating satellite. But now most of the launches are satellite, most of the satellites that are getting launched are successful. And that's because the technology changed and because the everything became standard. Okay. This is the one the statistics that I got in 2022. It was something like 500 launches predicted, but now it will repeat in 2023. It exceeds 500 launches a year. Okay. So, who are the big players? How can we enter into this market? The big players are North America. And that's because everything started from there, and they are the ones who lead the standardization process. Okay. One, you have to keep in mind whenever we talk about space, small satellite, that means standard satellites. There's nothing magic in it. And you have to follow the standards. So North America, including US, Canada, and all the companies in there. And some of the major players of the North America are Sierra Nevada, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, L3Harris, Aerospace Corporation, Planet Labs, Boeing, Thales Group, GOM Space. So these people are almost, they are the shakers and the movers of small sat in the world. And the key players are adopting numerous strategies, such as product launch, acquisition, collaboration, partnership, product development, agreement on business expansion, and so on. So they are the ones who dictate the way to move forward in developing small satellites and also doing business in small satellites. Okay. So I have here global small satellite market. You can see that between mini and micro satellites, this was in 2000. This was in 2018, and in 2026, the mini and micro business of satellites is going to grow very high. All right. Any question? Any questions from your end? Online? Yes? Move forward? Okay, let's move forward. Applications. The most used application is in imaging. This is for imaging. This was the imaging in 2018. And this is the imaging in 2026. The next thing is technology demonstration. Why technology demonstration follows imaging? It's because remember, as I said, space technology is equivalent to innovation. Innovation is equivalent to space technologies. You innovate and you try it in space. You innovate and you try it in space. That's why. And you take photos. The rest, science exploration, space structure awareness, they're not that much important. Importantly is you try to demonstrate the technology. Yeah? Okay. What's this one? Countries are launching, okay, and organizations are launching. And you could see in the fourth quarter of 2021, there were 264 satellites launched by 27 distinct organizations only. And on those organizations are commercial, academic, government organizations. So there's no difference between who's doing what. Importantly is you try to contribute to and make your satellite as fast to the launch as possible. Okay. 11 corporations together launched 248 satellites. Just 11 corporations. I mean, imagine. This is each corporation something like 20 satellites per corporation. 8 government entities from China, France, Japan, US, Vietnam commissioned to 13 satellites together. In 2010, UN had commissioned itself to put 50 satellites together in one launch. So imagine this is how, as fast as this small satellite business is growing. So you could see this one is a commercial satellite development. The rest is this is academic and government. It's as low as possible, whereas number of satellites coming from the commercial side, it's growing. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Who are the launchers? The launchers are from different countries. This is successful launches and who launched satellites. In fact, the most and the major one player is this Falcon, SpaceX, and they have successfully launched all their missions, 100% success. Yeah. Vega, Soyuz. Anyone can develop a rocket and knows orbit mechanics, can put the satellite together, put it in the rocket and shoot it up and let it, well, launching is successful. It launches and then it goes out, the satellite goes out and starts orbiting the space. But then at the same time, how long? When do you assume that your satellite is successful, your launch is successful? Okay? That's another thing. That's another issue. So to keep everything as in one slide, market by end user and by region, you could see North America is the highest. Okay. And major players of the companies in North America are Airbus, Northrop Grumman, Golden Space, Boeing. All right. And then we have government and we have also commercial. And then what are they doing? What are these satellites are doing? They are imaging mainly, and they are doing technology development mainly. Okay. All right. Move on. So this is another slides for you to show that you could see the size of the sphere. North America is much bigger than this one, Asia Pacific, Europe. So, and who are the companies involved in? These are the ones. Okay. Let's get into CubeSats, which is part of the small satellite, but the special type. There's an increase in the number of production of CubeSats from 2018 to 2023 by 19.87% CAGR. Okay, and that means in 2018 there were 152 million spending dollars. In 2023 there's what, 575 US dollars spent. So this number is growing. Now, I know what's going on in your mind, and you can say, okay, what are they doing? Imaging. What was they imaging doing for what? In fact, they are using it for Earth observation and traffic monitoring. They are using for science and technology education. They are doing space observation, and they are doing communication and meteorology. So far, these are the essential purposes of these missions. But you never know, because with the small satellite, with CubeSats, perhaps they will be able to send, not just doing this kind of purposes. They may be able to send small species to the space. Depends on where they send the satellite. Regardless, whether it's this much small, quarter, or 16 or 500 kilogram worth of satellites. So with the global market, again, you can see here the same thing. North America with the same players. And now it's very interesting in here. It's because non-profit organizations are getting into it. NGOs, foundations, these are the non-profit organizations. Together, defense, government, commercial, academics. So there's no limit. If you have the money, you have the funds, you can do it yourself. You can work on your own. You can bring kits. You can put together, send it, and get a result out of it. If you're successful in getting results, okay. Here is another way of looking into the CubeSat market. You could see again here in 2023, it's going to be $375 million worth of market, and the major players are there, and we have to deal with it. Okay. Now, so how do we enter the market? What do you think? How should we enter the market? Any suggestions?
Find a task which we can
Find a task which we can scope
solve.
as soft.
Solve.
Solve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Important.
Find a problem. Right. What else?
Maybe
else?
to find the technology that would be necessary in future, something like that, to make
Yes.
it.
Excellent. Excellent. 3 of you are correct. But that's because your answers fall within this category. You have to have a creative mind, come up with some ideas, then you innovate, and then you build a business out of it and become an entrepreneur. Okay, this is the way you create you practice yourself to develop creative thinking. Then you innovate. Well, creative thinking leads to new technology, leads to new method, leads to new tasks, solving new problem. Then you innovate, and then you learn the technique of building a business. All right, let's move on. Now, how do you learn the technique of building business? If you don't know the sequence here, from creativity to innovation to becoming a business person, you will never succeed. Take my word. If you start from here, from entrepreneur, become a business person, and you don't know how to create, and you don't know how to deal with innovation, you will fail right from the beginning. Entrepreneur is the person who builds the business, who starts the business. And if he doesn't know how to deal with the creative thinking and how to maneuver it to make it innovation, and how to take the innovation and make it a product, it will never succeed. Some might think, okay, I have a good product, and I know that how to solve this software. I know how to solve this problem with this kind of technology. But then, if that technology is not needed, because technology is always changing, you can never keep technology as the element for your success to become a good businessman and entrepreneur and make money. By the time you practice and you become the master of that technology or that tool or that technique, you find that the technique or the tool is already disappearing, and it becomes something from the past. Yes. Therefore, you have to learn and know that you have to become a creative person for you to be able to innovate. And once you start innovating, that means there's something tangible in your hand. Then you learn the ropes of building a business. Okay. So you learn how to develop a technology. You learn how to master a certain tool, a certain technique, so you can become an expert. Now, you have to learn this road in order for you to be able to have a tangible product. You have to learn that technology might lead to either a device or a software tool that becomes a product. And if you have something in your hand, but nobody wants it, you have no customer, this is not a product. Nobody wants it. Then why are you killing yourself? You have nothing. So you have to learn who your customers are. Once you find your customers, then you know your market. Once you know your market, now you have a business. Okay? And once you have a business, you cannot stay there. If you stay there, you will lose your customers. You have to continuously improve the technology and work on the technology for you to be able to remain in the market. The purpose is to remain in the market and to grab as wider market as possible. And if you've been able to grab a wider market, that means your customers are happy. That means your device, your product, your technology is continuously changing. That's why you cannot work on old technologies. Okay, so this sort of a path is important for you as a startupper, as a young person who wants to enter into the business of space. You should learn this path. Okay, I have seen and I come across, and I always advise my students. They say to me, oh, I have this good technology that I am aware of and so on, and I know how to operate. And I say, okay, who's your customer? Says, I don't know. I have to go and find out. That's a no-no situation for setting up a business. All right? Any questions? Okay, let's move on. And here, in fact, this is very, very important words from Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, as you know, he invented not just the light, he invented a lot of stuff. And in his time, he said, don't come and tell me that you have a new technology if you don't know who your customers are and who your market is. If you know your market, let's work on the technology, let's develop it, so we can sell it and make a profit out of it. Okay? All right.
Real business.
Real businessman, exactly. Unlike Tesla.
It was a
Tesla,
real sign.
yeah, Tesla was never a businessman. He remained in debt. He remained in debt from the beginning all the way to the end of his life. He didn't know how to make a business. It's a very good thing to learn. All right, this is very interesting. Oops, sorry, how do I go back? All right. So we talked about technology. Where do we develop this technology? How do we start developing it? We start developing when it is in the exploratory and research phase. There are, as a young person, you should know the following. Product development, technology development, and project goes hand in hand together. You cannot separate them from each other. When you are in exploratory world, you are in the pre-phase A of the project. When you go into the concept phase, this is the path for product development. From research and development, concept development, then the actual product development, then you put in production, then you put in utilization, you utilize it, you use it by the customer, and then you give a support to the customer, and by when you go back and change the technology, and once it is used by the customer, you retire that technology, and then you've already come up with new technology, the same thing, on and on and on. But as you move in the ladder of product development, you have to care about project development also. And you have to care about technology development. You cannot assume here you remain in the R&D phase and your technology is TRL9. Let me see if I can, oops, sorry. Egg. Okay. All right. I don't see why there is no, because technology, as you know, technology has how many phases? 9 phases.
Yeah.
From TRL, Technology Readiness 1, all the way to Technology Readiness 9. Technology Readiness 1 and 2 is here. Technology Readiness 9 is here. And for space, once it is used, it becomes Technology 8 and 9. Okay? Because once you deploy it into the space, all this is Technology 9. That's why for project, space project, this is phase E, and here is phase F, which is already getting, you retire your satellite. Okay? And for space programs, sometimes I get very excited, Havanas knows, and I get angry when people come and say to me, oh, we have this technology and we are going to launch it. What about these? They have no idea. They have no idea. And I keep saying to them, excuse me, you cannot move all the way to here if you don't conduct these reviews. There are certain reviews, mission concept review, requirement reviews, preliminary design reviews. Once you decide on the preliminary design reviews, that's it. There's no more change into the product, into the space product that you're developing. Then once you start the production, you have to take it to critical design review. Once you're in the critical design review, if you passed, then you go into system integration review. Once you pass the system integration review, then you go to operation readiness review. Well, operation readiness review, if you passed here, then you are ready for launch. Okay? And once you are ready for launch, you are already supporting the launch, the launch operation. Operation after launch, in other words, that's what I'm saying. Is this clear? Okay. Then there is another thing here. Okay, all this is there. Another ignorance that I see in a lot of countries is the following. Space missions are divided into certain sort of categories. In terms of months, those missions who you can build payloads in 6 weeks, and they cost less than 10 million. These are the missions that are of class E or class D. And CubeSat falls among here. The big missions are class A, class B, class C. They last 5 years and plus. So when you talk about or if you want to enter into the space business, decide which kind of missions are you trying to develop. Are you trying to develop a small sat with a small, within a year kind of schedule, or you are trying to develop a mission with 5 years plus? Okay, so why is this division? It's because of project management requirement. Project management requirement, mission assurance requirement, all these are really very important things for the new starters, for the person who enters into the business of developing or dealing with the space objects, doing business with the space object. Okay. Okay. Now, what do we have locally? Well, we all know that our society, it's built on a circular economy. That means teach me, I teach you, teach me, I teach you, teach me, and teach you. So it's a circular thing. They are not going to, they are not moving forward. In fact, even before circular economy, there's this knowledge economy. Knowledge economy is when you gain knowledge and you use it, gain it and use it, gain and use. But with circular economy is you have certain level of understanding and you try to practice it, and then you come back and do it the same way, and then you come back and so on. So who are the providers of the ecosystem of the space technology development, or the ecosystem for commercial business developers? Who are the providers? We have incubators, we have accelerators, and then we have the funders. These are the funding providers. Either comes from angel investors or venture capitals. In fact, what doesn't exist here it should be who? Or here, it should be the government on the top. This in between the incubator and the accelerator. And this, in fact, this ecosystem is the startup ecosystem in Armenia. There are few incubators and accelerators that I think all of them are in here. See, for example, FAST, we have in Armenia. It also provides incubator for the startuppers to go there, for individuals to sit on a computer and work. They give you chairs and tables and stuff like that. And they also give you classes to accelerate you in your knowledge of building a business. But they are not in the business of space business development. The ropes of building a business in the space sector is different than the ropes of building business in agriculture or IT sphere, or salon, hair salon, a boutique of hair salon, or a cookie store, or a juicy shops, or a supermarket. It's different. That's why we don't have that incubator, and we have the incubator. Like we are working with Aran Mehrabian Foundation. he's providing us the incubator, the place to sit, meet, discuss. And who's the accelerator business? CPAR is giving seminars, talks, presentations, education program, but we're not moving towards, we are not teaching how to set up a business. I am purposely not teaching how to set up a business in space sector. And that's because I don't see we are there yet. We first need to build something for the space and then learn all this stuff that I showed you. I'm sorry, let me go back. Here, let's go through this practice first on project and system lifecycle model, at least once, from R&D all the way to utilization. Then I can gather my team and teach them how to set up a business. Why? Because setting up a business requires certain skills and certain knowledge. So, which I have tried to summarize it as little as possible. But they are beyond all this. We need, first of all, entrepreneurial education. And the kind of entrepreneurial education we are talking about in the space sector, it's different than, it's semi-different than from the sector, the other sectors. First of all, the entrepreneur has to have a mission and a goal in mind. But if you have a business, or if you want to start a business, let's say in, give me an example. Opening up a shop for clothes. Okay. What's your mission? What's your vision? What are you trying to, what technology are you trying to improve or develop? What innovation are you bringing? None. Whereas in space, you have to first think, what innovation I am going to bring? What is it, the newness? Innovation is newness. What is the uniqueness of my business if I set up a business in the space sector? So he or she has to have a clear understanding of his mission, her mission, and the goal. And have a product or service to offer. What are you offering? Are you developing a software, a hardware, building a device, or you are developing a system which has all things in it? So it depends. So try to think in those terms. And another thing is, you leverage on your strength. You don't leverage on someone else's strength. You understand what I mean, leveraging on your strength. That means you ask yourself, where is my strength? I come from space industry. What is it that I should, what is it the strongest thing I have? Is it developing a software? Is it developing a hardware? Is it using the hardware into a component, a part? Is it taking that part and putting into a subsystem? Is it taking the subsystem and putting together and building a system? Is it the system engineering activity? Is it the quality of work that I'm doing? Is it the project management, that the skills that I have in project management? Ask yourself. Don't jump into setting up a business right away in the space industry, because it's really, you will fail within the first year or so if you set it up without understanding these details. And then don't go and do the same thing like the rest are doing. Try to collaborate with them. If you collaborate, you find your own niche. And finding your own niche is much more better than doing the same thing like others are doing. Don't say to me, oh, I know this tool, I know this software, I know this hardware is doable and usable, and I'm going to do the same, and yet you know exactly that someone else is doing it. If you can, it's not like building a supermarket. One fruit seller shop, and then next to it, there's another fruit seller shop. You have to have uniqueness you have to have innovative idea in your business. Consider all sizes of opportunities, large or small. Don't say, oh, I'm only going to deal with large organizations because the money is there. Or I'm going to deal with America because most of the companies are there. No. You never know. Try to be humble, try to build it as small as possible. Discover yourself and your capabilities. Don't jump into something that is beyond your capability. And aim big, but work very small, slowly by slowly. Don't go and hire 10 people, and at the time and simply because you want to be big, and you go to venture capitals and give them a share in your company. Don't do these things. Keep the venture capitals away from you. Because venture capitals, when they come to you, they will take part of your company. And they will screw you if you did not succeed. And they ask for minimum 30% of your profit. And if you have no profit yet, okay, they inject you with money. And if you did not succeed and you could not develop a technology, that means you wasted their money and they will take you to the court. Okay? Take a chance for not to miss an opportunity. If there's something in your heart and in your stomach, in your guts, it burns and it tells you, you have to start, you have to start, you have to start, you have to do something, do it, but do it correctly. Otherwise, you will fail. Any questions? Okay. There is something called setting up a business. There is something called working with the business. It's both of them, it's you and it's your business. But there's something called setting up a business. That's where you go around and you start from writing your business plan, doing your financial analysis, talking to your lawyers, setting up your accountant, and yet your product, your technology, it's not there at all. Trust me, you fail. You have to have both the same level for you to succeed. Learn how to run a business and differentiate between both. You have to learn how to run a business, and also you have to learn how to develop a technology to make it a product. Totally two different things. Two different things. And if you kept running a business, writing perfect business plans, okay, getting money from here, from there, and from there, but you have no technology, no product, you fail. That's why I always recommend first develop the technology, develop your product, then go around and talk to your venture capitals, angel investors, or go into incubators and accelerators and try to learn the skills needed to build, because there's the management skill, there's the communication skills, there's the human resources skills, accounting skills, financial skills, customer dealing with customers skills. All these are not coming from day one. You have to build on it gradually. I think I talked about the third point, different skills, and from communication, finance, managing resources, bring dynamic disequilibrium into the sector through finding your own niche. What does it mean? Don't go around and PR yourself without substance underneath. Talk only with confidence, something in hand. And if you just go around and you blah, 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 one day that entire balloon is going to explode. And what's underneath? Nothing. That's what happened in 2008 in US, when the IT sector became, everybody was talking about, I am having this company, I'm building this company, I have this product and that product, but what was underneath it? Nothing. That's why one day it came and it exploded, and everybody went busted, everybody went without jobs. And next thing, everyone went into
suicide.
Yes, a lot of suicides. Yes. A lot of families remained without food on table. So be careful these pitfalls. Commit present resources for future expectations. For example, you have a bit of funds in your pocket. Don't go and work lavishly. Always work, in English they say, bootstrapped. Bootstraps means, you know what does it mean? It means you have your shoes and there are laces on it. Let me say it in Armenian. Goshiki telera. If you don't know how to tie the lace, then one day you will fail. Because you spend. Okay, it's venture capital's money. I know this guy is going to give me money even if I don't produce. It doesn't work that way. And one day he will come and really talk to your face saying that you wasted my money, you wasted my effort, and I think you should pay me back. So therefore, you work, use your present resources for the future. And by then you will learn how to economize, you will learn how to not spend, how to look for opportunities. Hovannes can say a lot about these things, because we in our group, we work in this principles. this is very important for any person who wants to enter or learn how to do a business. No matter how rich father you have, how many gold bracelets you from your mother you inherited, that's not enough. You have to learn how to spend economically. That will help you a lot. Okay, I think, is there any questions from outside? Any from the audience here? No, I know it's 9 o'clock here in Yerevan. People are tired from work, and then 6 o'clock, from 6 o'clock, you're there.
There's a question.
Okay, how do we know if there's a question?
Astana, do you have any questions or online?
Do you mean the general question or according to the slide that we hear right now?
Both.
I have the question about do you have something like a Facebook to be in touch with you and to
Yes,
see what
I
you are
do.
thinking about and etc. And the next question, I am very passionate about the moon development because I see that is a key for future exploration in space and etc. And my question is about what is your opinion how to be engaged in that moon development? Because for now we are talking about small satellites to Earth observation and etc. But let's see further. What is your opinion how to make an engagement in that, how to start doing something suitable and make it happen?
Okay, excellent question.
Thank you.
First one, the first question was, do I have a Facebook? Yes, I have, and it's Mary, M-A-R-Y, Boghosian, B-O-G-H-O-S-I-A-N. But I don't publish, I don't put anything in my Facebook. As I said, because I work with a principle of less talk, no talk, do work. That's what I work with. That's my philosophy. The second question, what is the, how should we look into the future? That's an excellent question. Now, if you are in the business of CubeSat, Hovannes knows about this because we work very closely with each other, and I train him and I talk to him. I ask his opinion purposely because I want him to train his brain into looking and doing things in different ways. Okay? And if you are already a business owner, deal with your project manager in that manner. You will do him a lot or her a lot of favor, and you will teach him how to stand up on his feet and move forward independently when you are even not around, or even if you are around, he will support you. That's one thing. Second, in terms of the technology and in terms of innovation, yes, always read what is the latest in the market and what is the latest in the technology of small satellite or the CubeSats. Always. And if you don't read, sometimes you read it and then you forget about it. That's why use your nearest, best person in your team to sort of share. And once you share, or he or she shares with you, you will start seeing technologies gradually moving on. Remember this slide. Let me go back to this slide here. This is a very important slide because if you are already in production, in phase D, or you are already building your satellites and you move on into system integration review, by then you must, it's a must, look into what is the latest in the satellite field, the small satellite field. Is it still 1U, or everybody is moving to half a U, or is there anyone has done half a U if you're thinking going to half a U, or let's say in ADCS or in any subsystem you're working on, like I know Marat here is working on orbit mechanics and the needs of ADCS components. Look into what is the latest of ADCS's components. Why we should use the same components over and over and over and over. In 1U, yes, it is all standard. And it has to be used, stuff that has been already used. That's because for new entrants, that's how it is. But once you do that, you don't have to stick to the same components. You can change. So yes, look for new technologies, and always look for new technologies in the concept review. In here, TRL 3. Here is TRL 1 and 2. There is TRL 3. Here is TRL 4. Here is 5 and 6. Here is 7 and 8. And by 10 is TRL 9. Okay? All right. Any other questions?
Can I ask one more?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do you think about how to drop the cost, for example, to make it easier for customers, researchers, universities, students, and everyone else? How to make it this pathway easier? For example, maybe the launch systems is not the biggest challenge for now. Maybe there is a big problem in decision making, in regulations, in etc. What is your personal opinion? How to make the pathway to space easier?
Right. The first thing, let's come from the end, from the launch. Launch is fixed. We know, and I'm sure you know as well. Launchers are talking to each other. In fact, it was much more than 40,000 K. But I am very surprised that for the last 20 years, at least I know, okay, from the beginning, NASA set a sort of a line and said, I have Ilana, which is for students, and I am going to charge 40,000. Just make your satellite and send it to me. Based on NASA's decision, the rest of the companies, even if they build small launchers or small rockets, they still charge the same. Now, I'm sure if NASA drops its cost, everyone is going to drop it. That's one thing. So launch, that's how it's sort of a politics. Okay. Let's get into how to drop the cost of building the satellite, because launching is a different thing, building a satellite is a different thing, or building the spacecraft is a different thing. You do feasibility studies. You do analysis of alternatives. You do a fault tree analysis. You check your in-house capabilities. If your in-house capabilities are available, why do you have to go and buy? Build it in-house. When you build it in-house, make sure that you don't make that person exceeds the time limit of developing that component or subsystem. It's very hard, but that's how you minimize your cost. Then don't choose lots of people. Concentrate on major subsystems only and make one person in charge. I know you're going to say it is going to be a single point failure, but that's fine. If you allow that person to work alone, yes, it becomes single point failure. But if you bring the people always together and let them talk to each other, it doesn't become single point failure. Hovannes and I, we know this very well because we always push towards working the team working together, and everybody has its own opinion, and God forbid Armenian opinions. Everyone is an expert in the field without knowing anything. In everything. That's reality. I don't know in your area, but that's how it is here. So you try to minimize it that way. Don't go into the expensive hardware. If you find, I can talk from our real world. Hovannes and I, we search and search and search and search, and if someone comes and says to us, this component is almost 9,000 and this is 3,000, we try to compare both, and we try to see if there is a flight heritage in it. If there is no flight heritage, if someone else used it, we write to that someone else. So we minimize the cost. And that's how you do it. And if there's any other way, Marat? No? How did Roscosmos or how did they do?
I don't think that Roscosmos will care about the price.
We care. In Armenia, we care because here we. That's right. We have no government support. And it is always like that. When there is no government support, you have to minimize your cost. If there is a government support and there's a fixed amount, then you can build your satellite or your project around that figure. Minimize, for example, if, let me be very frank here. We have a project manager, he is also helping purchasing. We have a project manager, he also helps in system engineering. We have a project manager, he also helps in subsystem development. So we don't use a person for a task. That's how I do. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So we have seen that nowadays the CubeSat is new trend in space, and new trend in space, the CubeSat. What will be the next trend after CubeSat? Maybe some new Earth-based system or even smaller satellites.
A smaller satellite, quarter. One quarter. At the moment, CubeSat is a special one. It's 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter. It's going to be 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. And per subsystem, it's going to become smaller, smaller, smaller. Because CubeSat now is old, very old. After CubeSat, it came CanSat. CanSat had also a diameter of 10 and a height of 10, but in a circular, yeah, like a tube. Now that now is old. Then it became half, half, half. Now it's quarter, quarter, quarter. And I know since 2012 or 11, Bob Twiggs, who was the first professor at Stanford University, who received the government fund to develop the CubeSat, he's been working on miniaturizing the CubeSat to 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Okay. Sure.
I want to ask about the Armenian satellite, which was launched last year. What problems can it solve, and what is the perspective for it?
It's very interesting. I was reading about it just 2 days ago, and I sent it to my team. And I said it's really very interesting to read it, so we learn from it. What problem does it solve? In fact, it is an imaging satellite. They wanted to build, and it doesn't belong to Armenia. It belongs to the Spanish company, Spanish company. But the data comes to us. The funding came from us for them to build that satellite. And now, and I think their CEO was saying that they are going to build it, I think a smaller one, a more powerful imaging process in it. Yeah. So there's not much, but it's good to have it, you know, it's very good to have it. After all, I'm very happy that it happened during these days when I'm still in the field. All right. Any other questions?
Can I have a question?
Sure.
Yes, on the last slide you had you said that when you find a niche, you're making disrupting in the market. What do you mean by that?
Let me go back to to the last slide.
Disequilibrium into the sector.
Where? Oh, yes. Why did I say that? Because I don't know in your country, but in Armenia, everybody tends to move towards what's already common. And if I see Arman is doing something without me thinking beyond the disruption, I go and do the same thing. And I put my company next to yours, or maybe some in another city, very close by. That's the social situation in our countries, especially in Armenia. This is something which really amazed me when I discovered it. And because I know US, Canada became the leaders of this field, not by copying, but by learning and trying to do their own, building their own technology, developing their own subsystem, or the system, or a subsystem. So, and then they used to go and talk to each other in conferences. Whereas in countries like ours, I build a satellite exactly the same way as Marat is working on another satellite. What's the difference? I don't understand. That's what I say. Find your niche and establish a disruption in innovation. Don't do the same thing. Do you see what I mean? That's exactly what I mean. If, for example, I don't know, Arman, in what expertise you are in, is it in system development or subsystem development or component development? So if you know someone else is doing the same thing as yours, don't let him copy you, or you don't let yourself to copy the other person. Do it differently and show that your system or your subsystem is really different than the other one. That's what I mean. Okay.
Much. It was.
Well, I think your voice got cut off.
Arman, hello?
Arman, we cannot hear you.
Hello, Mary. Thank you very
Yes.
much for your great presentation. Thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, my pleasure. No, I was asking the lady here. You photographed, and you have no question.
One more question.
Remember your question.
Okay.
One-
Hold on. Let me get the online question.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Daurian Space Lab from Astana. So the question is, if you are a startup, for example, is it okay to pursue several projects, 2 or 3? What do you think?
Two or three. From my own experience, 3 projects, 3 products. Is that what you mean? Or 3 projects, 1 product? If you are pushing 3 projects for 1 product, go for it. But if you are pushing 3 projects for 3 different products, don't go for it. Why? Because you will spend effort, money, knowledge, team, large team, and you as the owner of the startup, and you have no experience yet how to practice your brain to handle different projects with different people's attitude. And then there is this finances, there is the investments, there is the accounting, there is the lawyers. You will burn out yourself. Okay, so if it is 3 projects for 1 product, go for it. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
One more question. Hello, Ivan, Astana.
Okay, hold on a second.
I think for us today.
Out the place. Or
Asana, just wait. Sorry, you wait.
After.
Huh?
I think after when you finish your
Presentation.
presentation, I could work in a minute maybe because it's not interesting for us.
It's not interesting for you.
For us.
For Asana?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it's not interesting for you, and you kept taking photos and photos. of the slides, and I was like, okay, what's happening? Go ahead, Astana.
Hi. Do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes,
I want to ask you a question about a place. If you want to bake a cake in Sahara, it will be baked out of sand. So what do you think about a place where to do your innovations and where to work?
You know, it is excellent question, just like the first one, the looking into the future. You do it in your wherever you wish to do, but do not PR it. Do not PR it. Do it silently, quietly, in the vicinity of your competitor, but don't advertise. And until you have a good product, this is my experience and my philosophy. I don't like empty words. I don't like big words. And I don't like talking big. That's why my team, I keep saying to them, don't bluff. Don't say if something you haven't done it. Do it and then let's talk. So to build or to develop a product, if you are not 100%, I would say 75%, you know the path for developing that product. Do it on your own, quietly, calmly, without advertisement, without PR. And once you are in your end, then you can go and advertise to the whole world and to your competitor. Okay.
Great answer. Thank you very much, because I've built a product and spent 8 years to build it, and now it's done. And now I'm in this regime to found a global market for it.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, looking into the global market, you look into there's the primary market for the product, there is secondary market to the product. If your product is a material, you can never look into you have to look into the secondary market as well as the primary market. If your product is a gadget, a device, or a subsystem, then a primary market will help you identify the need of that product. And just like I did today, I purposely put the market first and then went into talking about setting up a business and how to think in setting up a business. It's because I wanted to show that where the market is in general, but you can also read about this market research. There are reports coming up every year. It's called Small Satellite Report. And you can buy it, you can download it online for free. You can look into the market, how the market is moving for that specific product that you've developed. And looking into from the entire big picture of the market down to satellites or spacecraft or part of the components, and then gradually down to the material. Okay.
Thank you very much. Excellent advice.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
I have two of them. The first one is about spin-off implementation. Do you believe that in space tech that is really necessary to implement something like spin-off, not for
Spin-offs.
space? Yes, not for space, but for Earth, for example, like a secondary goal for technology project and etc.
Of course. Yes, I do believe. And it is the best thing. You can, if you are the person who did the spin-off, it's an excellent thing. That means you are, but make sure that you stand up on your feet. If you are the person who did the spin-off, because sometimes spin-offs, the person thinks that he or she is I am now an independent and I can run my own business. And thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Now I can move out and take my team with me and build my own company. You have to have the backing of the major company. That's number one. Number two, you have to have the courage and the tenacity, means the strength of standing on your feet, because where your money is going to come from, you have to count on that. If you spin off and your money is getting cut off, then you will not be able to survive. But if your money, let me give you an example. I myself, as I said, today's talk was about my experience also. I worked for a spin-off company. The person who developed that company, he got spin off from GE, General Electric. General Electric, after this person got spin off, with all the mechanisms of funding available in USA, from SBIRs to STTRs to angel investors, the money, the person, the CEO of the spin-off, who has already, he spent his own money, his mother's jewelry. GE used to get the contract and give it to him. And we were building MRI systems. Do you see what I mean? That's what I mean, is if you can stand up on your feet, someone pays for you, then do the spin-off. But if you think that if you think that the company you got spun from is not going to support you, don't do it unless you talk to several investors so you can secure your funds, or look for funding mechanisms like the ones exist in USA, SBIRs, STTRs, small technology funds. It depends where you're calling from in your country. How is that dealt with? In Armenia, we don't have anything from the government. We have one of a kind, one type, and that's it. That's why it is very dangerous to do a spin-off. But if the person knows that he got inherited something like 100,000, not 100,000, because nowadays 100,000 means nothing, some $500,000 or $1 million, I salute the person to do a spin-off. Okay, that's one question. Is that okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot. And the second one, maybe short. Short question is, what is the best place, according to your experience, to implement space project? Maybe Europe, US, and etc. What is your opinion?
In your own hometown. Yes. I tell you why. Because as I said from the beginning, space means innovation. Innovation needs courageous entrepreneurs. Courageous entrepreneurs go to the government and say, look, I'm doing this. You need to change your rules and regulations. I don't want to talk much about that. By the time we reached to this point, where now we have a few companies, Marat is working for one, and I am the second one. We're trying to build satellite. It took me 8 years. From educating the government officials all the way down to the business owner or the investor, and I still cannot convince the investors because they don't put their money in space programs. Only few can see the future, can see beyond our planet. They are ready to put their money on IT, on developing some software, for developing some app, but not for putting on space programs. Right, Marat? Okay, so your
Okay,
own
thank
hometown. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. And then once you are there, if your government or if your hometown really gives you a hard time, entrepreneur is the most persistent person. You knock on their door. If they throw you out of the door, you enter from the window. If they threw you out of the window, you go and look for someone who is a friend of a friend of a friend of an official. And if you see that friend of a friend is not helping, you start giving seminars, educating. And gradually, one day, you will find whatever you say, you hear it from someone else's mouth. That's where your success becomes. Okay? And then you will say, I got it. Now I am going to knock his door again, and I know he is not going to say no to me. Okay.
Thanks for your answers. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question too, please?
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for the presentation and your time. And I'm an undergraduate student, and I don't know how space industry works. So I just was wondering if someone wants to become an astronaut, like a person who's doing science in space, should they first focus on academia, or they should to get into space industry as soon as possible?
Well, you are undergrad of what? Of what?
Of physics.
Just physics.
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you this. Every year, the School of Astronauts advertises announcements saying from all over the world who wants to apply to become an astronaut. Regardless whether you are a farmer or you are an undergrad student or you are a professor or you are man or woman or 15 years old or 55 years old, it doesn't matter. You look and Google it up and find NASA's announcement for astronauts. NASA, ESA, always put announcement for accepting applications for astronauts. You apply. They will take you to a training and they will question if you got accepted. They will take you to the training and they will ask you lots of questions from where you from, how you got to know about us, to your capabilities of I don't think the academic background matters as much as can you survive in the space? And surviving in the space is the following. They take you to experimentation. They put you under low gravity environment. They put you under the water. They see how much your heart, your brain, how much panicking you are, your nervous system, how it works. Very, very tedious process. And if you passed all of that, then they will take you to the second step of the selection. Although the announcement says there is no difference between people, sometimes the differences happen. Sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on the time of the political situation. If the politics of that stage is accepting foreign non-US citizens, Eastern Europe, Chinese, then okay, you pass. If they don't, then you don't pass. There's another way, is that you go to your government, and if your government is dealing with the ESA or NASA, the government takes your name and puts it into ESA's or NASA's selection process. And you will be called because your government wanted that. And I am 50% sure, not 100% sure, that if your government is not part of the organization of ESA or NASA, they may ask your government to pay something, like the United Arab Emirates. The government of Emirates paid to NASA. Or somehow they contributed to NASA's project for NASA to say, okay, we accept someone from your government, from your country. Okay, but that may or may not. That 50-50. Because I know some astronauts and I know how many times they applied, and I know even if they are, that person was a teacher, not even physics. Because becoming an astronaut requires you to, your body to resist and to survive in the space environment. That's what it matters. And then there's the factors of government, funding, money, you exchange money, you don't exchange. If you're from Eastern Europe, if there is a law or regulations or some logistic stuff, that's how it is.
Thank you very much. May I ask a follow-up question? Just you said even farmers. I mean, I was just thinking, isn't there strict requirement like a bachelor's degree in specific? No.
No.
Oh.
You have to be healthy.
You have to be healthy. Your body has to survive. the conditions of the space.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
One more
Any
question.
other? Okay.
So yeah, you said that it's better to do space projects in your home country, but don't you think that there are, even though there are countries that it's better to do space projects? So, for example, Elon Musk, he moved from South Africa to United States, and eventually he founded a huge company like Tesla, SpaceX, etc. And because of maybe there are more money, investments, and also the speed of the innovation. So yeah, I do know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all depends. Again, I mean, hey, let's put it this way. I say it is better for you to do it in your home country and in your hometown. But if you know that rules and regulations and logistics of your country and your region, it's really very bad. We experience it in Armenia every single day. We want something, it doesn't exist, we have to go and get it from somewhere else, and then it takes months to get it here, and it stays in custom, and then we have, if this is the situation in your country as well, and you have no, they call it in English, stamina, guts to persist. Yes, I agree with you, and I agree. But I know Elon Musk did not go to America just to do business. His family entirely moved to US before even he did a PayPal business. Yeah, you go to somewhere where I think if you're allowed, you can live in US and you can get US citizenship, because when you go to US, it's not always easy. First, if you go as an immigrant, you are not allowed to work here and there. By the time you learn the ropes and how do you say it, the nitty-grittiness of the society, you learn who does what, you are either tired or you move out, but if you are lucky, you find the right people, you find the right environment, you get into setting up a business. I know few young people from Armenia went there and they are doing very well because they found the right environment, the right people to support, to help. So yeah, it's your choice. But if your country it's doing well and there's no restrictions, you're part of the EU and EU's rules are all well set in your country, why bother? I don't bother going to somewhere else. I try to do it in my hometown because I understand the psychology of the people I work with in my hometown. And if I don't like or I don't want to deal with the psychology of the people in my hometown, yeah, I go to somewhere where no one knows me. Yeah, no one knows me. I learn new culture and I practice it, and then one day the path is longer, but it is. Yes, yes. It all depends. Okay. Any other? Yes. All right. If there are no other questions, we are done here.
Thank you very much. We will keep in touch with you.
Oh, definitely. Please do.
So
As I said, you can find me in a yellow shirt on Facebook and in LinkedIn. Now you saw my face. I should have put my LinkedIn address here, but I don't know. I think
I
Marat.
can share.
Okay, Marat can share.
Yes.
thank you very much. Astana was happy to listen to you. So great insights, and hopefully we will see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
And you have
you for
you have a
the
hacks.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you are satisfied.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
See you
Give it
guys.
to you.
Appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you for bearing us and staying
Thank you
with
so
us
much.
all this time. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Now, ayo, Hishumem. Ah, right. Yeah.